Hey there, fellas! This here is a video that's a compilation of all of my crazy taxi reviews so far. My long-form videos tend to get a lot of views, so I figured I'll just compile these all together and put it out there, you know? One quick thing I'd like to mention before the video is the fact that my studio is also a game studio. And our first game, Nova Rebellion, is out currently. I'll leave a link to the itch page in the description, as well as a link to our Discord. And with that, enjoy the video. Or videos, I should say.
Rated P for teen.
Yeah, I'm here for my license.
Get behind that yellow line.
Yeah, I know. License, please.
You better get out of my face. You ain't gonna get your pop license
Yeah,
back.
I
Look what
know.
I got on you. You drive through the mall, someplace, anytime. You got that
That was some big air.
What's your problem?
Hey, that's what I get paid for. I made some serious cake that day.
Crazy Taxi on Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
Hey, everyone! Welcome to Centurion Dragon Studios, where traffic laws are optional and pedestrians all have a death wish. Don't worry, I won't be doing that voice again. Hopefully. So, I've been revisiting some old Dreamcast games, one in particular for a much bigger project. And I thought, well, while that video is brewing, which is going to be a long-ass time, because it's going to be a long-ass video, I figured, hey, why not spotlight a game that's basically therapy in the form of road rage? Introducing Crazy Taxi, a game that was born when its creator, Koji Kondo, was stuck in traffic one day and thought, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a taxi service that just didn't give a fuck about traffic laws? About, I think it was a year later, his team had developed Crazy Taxi. The goal of the game is super simple. You pick up some passengers, and you drive them to their destination in the quickest way possible. Not exactly the safest. Now, Crazy Taxi was originally an arcade game. However, because the arcade cabinet used the Naomi hardware, it was so similar to the Dreamcast hardware, which had recently been released at the time, that they just ported it right over with minimal compromise. Actually, the Dreamcast version is better than the arcade in many ways, which we'll get into later. Anyway, Dreamcast version is the version we'll be looking at today, and being the basis for my review. There have been other ports made of Crazy Taxi throughout the years. However, all these ports exclude the licensed soundtrack. Yep, that's right. The original Crazy Taxi had licensed music from Bad Religion and The Offspring. That does leave me with one tiny problem. I can't actually show you the music from this game like I could with all the others, as I will get copyright struck into oblivion. So I'm sorry, but what I can do is leave a link in the description for the game's soundtrack, and you can go listen to it for yourself. With that out of the way, let's get to talking about Crazy Taxi! Now, Crazy Taxi offers 3 distinct game modes in the Dreamcast version. I'm pretty sure the other versions have it, but like I said, Dreamcast is the focus of this review. Each designed with a different objective and playstyle in mind. First, there's Arcade Mode. This is the original rule set from the arcade release. You start with a limited amount of time, and the goal is to extend that time by playing efficiently. Delivering passengers quickly adds bonus time. And simply picking up a new passenger also grants additional seconds. The longer you keep going, the higher your potential score. But once the timer runs out, it's game over. Next is the mode I play the most often, Time Trial Mode. Here, you're working with a strict timer, no extensions. You can choose to go for 3, 5, or 10 minutes. More often than not, I choose 10. And your goal here is simple. Earn the highest score possible within that fixed time period. There's no game over here in the traditional sense. As in, honestly, you could just screw around for 10 minutes and get 0 score and be just fine. You could explore the entire city if you wanted to. But where's the fun in that? You want to pick up passengers and do crazy stuff, don't you? Speaking of crazy stuff, the last mode is Crazy Box, which is just a bunch of mini games mostly. It's nothing really that special, and I'm sure there's people out there that love this mode. I just don't. I come to Crazy Taxi to listen to punk rock music and to be a crazy taxi driver, not to play mini games. Now, since Crazy Taxi is an arcade game, I'm gonna have to be a little unique in how I talk about it, as there isn't a traditional campaign for me to explain or story. Now, taxi drivers do have backstories, but you wouldn't know that unless you read the manual. So that's where we should start. The taxi drivers you can play as. You got 4 characters to choose from, so let's go over them. First is Axel. He is my go-to. He's got that punk rocker energy. Spiky hair, in a cab that looks like it's one burnout away from falling apart. According to the manual, he became a taxi driver because he thought it was the coolest job ever, after surviving a wild taxi ride as a kid. That explains a lot about him, and it turns out his license plate means, I know miss. Okay then. I don't know what he would be missing though, and I don't know if I want to know. Then there's Gina. Stylish, stone cold, and focused. And completely devoted to her ride. She doesn't care about passengers. She doesn't care about romance. She's a gearhead, and she lives for speed. Honestly, she's the very embodiment of a modern woman, for better or worse. And this was before gaming even knew what that meant. And her license plate apparently means sexy sis. Yeah, this game was made in a very, very different era of gaming. Next, we have the Crazy Taxi Driver, which is probably the most iconic. BD Joe, who isn't just here to drive, he's here to entertain. He's a big party animal who loves music and parties and making people smile. He's mostly here to entertain, not necessarily to drive you around. Apparently, his license plate means to hop, to go, which I have no idea what that means. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Lastly, we have Gus, who was the oldest of the Crazy Taxi drivers. He's the original madman who kicked off the Crazy Taxi driving style, which is never really explained, but I'm gonna assume is basically drive your person to their destination as quickly as possible and disregard everyone else's safety. And give the big middle finger to all the traffic laws. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Apparently, he used to be a big gambler, but after years of poker and blackjack, he mellowed out, and apparently it taught him to respect strategy. He also has a 55 Jolipe as his cab. Yeah, I didn't pronounce that right at all, but it's one of these things. Now here's something most people don't know about, is the fact that Crazy Taxi's passengers aren't just random NPCs. If you got the manual for the Dreamcast version, they actually have personalities and goals to some extent. Like Cindy, who's a college psychic major with a junk food addiction. Rachel is a hospital volunteer, dreaming of med school. Dan's writing a thesis on fashion and world markets. Grandma J, loud pajamas and louder personality basically sums her up. Then you got characters like Biff, who takes helicopters to baseball games. Buzz, who's a punk rocker who shows up in random places. And Pierce, who's a romantic who apparently spends all of his money trying to find a girlfriend. You know, I'm trying to find a girlfriend too, buddy, but I don't waste a ton of money on it. Probably because I don't have that much money. But seriously, dude, all you gotta do is just hand out your number to a few girls and see what happens. It has worked 0 times for me so far. It's crazy that all this story is absent from the game itself. Because when you start up the game, you hop into your cab and go get passengers and take them to their destinations. It's super simple. Alright, so once you pick your cab driver, you are dropped onto the pavement with no tutorials, no cutscenes, just here's your car. Go pick up passengers and go have fun. Now, generally, you'd be doing this to a punk rock soundtrack from The Offspring and Bad Religion. However, every single one of their songs is copyrighted, meaning I can't play any of them and keep the video online. So I either have to play with the game muted or with the music off, which, just listen, it sucks.
Take me to the yacht harbor.
Okay, you ready?
Go straight.
Okay, you ready?
Go straight.
Okay.
Yeah. Go that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that hurt. Pay more attention. Hey. Oh, be more careful.
However, I did find out that Sonic music actually sounds pretty good in Crazy Taxi. Here, take a listen.
Okay, you ready?
Go straight.
Okay, you ready?
Go straight.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the passengers you can pick up. As each passenger has a $sign over their head, and the color of the $sign tells you how difficult the trip is going to be. Now, when I first started playing the game, I thought green meant easy, red meant hard. No, it's the opposite. Red means easy, yellow means medium, and green means hard. Yeah, I know it's a little confusing when you start playing, but for some reason that's how it is. Let me tell you something. These passengers don't just hang out on the side of the road. They're in the oddest of places. Like this one lady here, who is the hardest person to drive around the map and has the hardest fare of any person in this game that I've found, is found on this roof. Just on the side of this roof. And she wants to go to the police station. Don't know what she needs to do at the police station or why she was on this roof, but okay. She is easily the hardest fare in the game. Like, this is the first time I've ever actually successfully got her to the police station, because you gotta haul ass across the entire map to get her there in time. Oh, and then there's people that hang out on the bottom of the ocean. Yes, how they're breathing, I don't know, and oh hey, there's an orca. You know, I think me and you have a common friend. So, what was I getting at? Oh yeah! How is this cab running underwater? How are you breathing? And what are you even doing down here? Look, the game's fun, so I guess I can overlook it, but it's a severe gap in logic. The faster you get your clients to your destination, the more score you get, and the crazier you make it, also the more score you get. You even get moves like the Crazy Dash and Crazy Drift to pull off. They can be hard to learn at first, but once you get the basics down, they're a ton of fun to pull off. And that's really the gist of it. It's just a quick pick up, play, 10-20 minutes. No story to follow, no emotional attachment, no levels to keep up with. Just pure punk rock adrenaline on demand fun. At the end of the day, your enjoyment of Crazy Taxi really comes down to one question. Do you need a story, or can you just make your own fun with a chaotic sandbox you're dropped into? Because this game is just pure pick up and play mayhem. And that's exactly why it works. And that's why I love it. If I'm having a bad time coding or I'm very frustrated, I can just pick up this game, play for 10 minutes, and blow off some steam. And if you're going to play this game, just going to go ahead and tell you, get the Dreamcast version specifically. It's the only one that keeps the original licensed soundtrack intact. And that basically defines the whole game's vibe. However, if Sega ever wants to re-release this game and does not want to pay the Offspring and Bad Religion for the music tracks, I have a solution. Sega, if you want to make this game awesome again, put Sonic music in there. No, I'm not kidding. Seriously, do it. This is my sales pitch for Crazy Taxi Remake having Sonic music in it. Watch.
Make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go. Come on, you're in a hurry, right?
Watch it, you nearly killed me! Take me to the cable car. I'm
Okay,
on the
here we go.
Wow, you're a great driver!
I can't handle it. Right here.
Thanks! Take me to the yacht harbor.
Okay, but don't freak out on me.
Oh, that hurt! Pay more attention! Yeah!
Yeah, I got it. Come on, you're in a hurry, right?
Watch it! You need to take me to the original Levi's
Okay, but
shop.
don't freak out on me. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, that hurt! Pay more attention! Oh, you hit it! That was serious speed!
Nothing I can't handle. Come on, you're in a hurry, right?
Hey, what take me to the church?
Okay, here we go.
What are you, stupid?
You nearly killed me! Take me to the original Levi's
Okay, but
shop.
don't freak out on me.
Oh, watch it, you fool! Go that way!
Yeah, I got it. It's a windy and sunny day.
Oh, watch it! That was serious speed!
Nothing I can't handle. The past weeks have been going by so fast.
Thanks. Take me to the Fila shop.
Okay, but don't freak out on me.
Yeah! Yeah!
Can you see the sun is shining on me?
Go that way.
It makes me feel so free. So
Can't you be more careful?
It makes me want to survive. And the
What are you,
sky,
stupid?
it makes me feel so high.
Make a left.
Yeah, I got it.
Today, it's gonna be a bright day.
Go that way.
Yeah, I got it.
Can you feel the sunshine that can brighten up the day? Don't you feel
Keep your eye on the road. Make a left.
Yeah, just a second.
Hey!
I tried.
You lousy driver!
Just think about the good times, and then you'll come back again.
And that's really all I have to say about Crazy Taxi. It's not really a complex game, and it's just fun. Dumb fun. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you like the game, tell me what you think of it and your memories with it. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I figured I'd make you guys a little deal, since the channel is starting to grow a little bit. You see, I'm a game designer, and my game, Nova Rebellion, is out right now. It's a rock and roll space shooter. And if this channel hits 100 subscribers, I'll put it on sale for just $1. That's a massive drop from the usual $4.99, a whopping 79.96% off. And I'll run said discount for 3 days. I'm a businessman. You can believe me. So what do you have to lose? Might as well give it a try, right? Also, I'll leave a link to our Discord in the description. That being the Dragon's Den. It's where the studio members hang out. And I'd love to see you guys there. Anyway, with that out of the way, this is Troy Schultz from Centurion Dragon Studios, signing off.
We're back! It's Crazy Taxi 2!
Well, crap. I just realized I can't play the official soundtrack of the game because the whole game soundtrack is copyrighted. You know what? Screw it. Sonic music's awesome, and there's no situation that you can't use it in. So, in honor of our new Discord member, who is a huge Silver the Hedgehog fan, Crazy Taxi 1 was a massive success, so naturally it was gonna get a sequel. But not in the arcades, it was exclusively on Sega's dying Dreamcast console. Which sucks, because this console was awesome. You see, when people talk about Crazy Taxi, they hardly ever mention the 2 sequels. I only ever hear them talking about Crazy Taxi 1. There seems to be a lot of hate directed at Crazy Taxi 2, and Crazy Taxi 3 seems to have a very mixed reception, which I think is completely undeserved. Each game has their strengths, even if one game does something better than the other. There's no real definitive Crazy Taxi game in my opinion. So strap in, folks, into my Crazy Taxi. I will spend the next few minutes explaining the things Crazy Taxi 2 improved upon and the areas where it took a few steps back. So I'm gonna break this review up into sections and compare each section to the first one. The first category is the maps. So there are 2 maps in Crazy Taxi 2, a round apple and small apple. Now I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. The round apple map sucks. It's mostly just a bunch of long roads with hardly any shortcuts, and it all just blends in together and is very samey. And your biggest obstacle is traffic. Excuse me, I want to play Crazy Taxi, not Crazy Traffic Dodger. And worst yet, there's hardly any unique locations or memorable things in this map. The only thing I could remember when writing the script is the long-ass bridge. Yes, this single long-ass bridge was the only thing I could remember when writing the script. Small Apple, on the other hand, is a whole nother story. I mean, do I need to say anything other than the fact that you can drive into the subway and dodge trains? That's right, you can drive down the subway terminals and get on the subway with your taxi. It is batshit insane and I love it. Now, as good as Small Apple is, I'm afraid it cannot compare to the quality of the original game's maps. Say the maps are bad or anything. Well, yeah, Round Apple is pretty bad. But Small Apple can still be a lot of fun. It's just, I think it's a downgrade from the original game. Next, let's talk about what was added to the gameplay of Crazy Taxi 2. For starters, there's the Crazy Hop, which is both useful and ridiculously illogical. Seriously, this thing defies physics so hard, it should come with a disclaimer from Sir Isaac Newton himself. Now, to be fair, it is a lot of fun to use. You can use it to get cool shortcuts and jump over traffic. So mechanically, it's a lot of fun, and it's a win. One cool enhancement is now you can pick up multiple passengers, and you'll make a ton of money doing so. But it's risky. Let me explain. For starters, on top of the huge pay bonus you get for picking up multiple passengers, all the bonus points you get for doing crazy stunts and crazy tricks is multiplied by how many passengers are currently in your vehicle. Downside is if you fail to deliver a single passenger to their destination, you lose all the money you accumulated. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten 3 of the 4 passengers to their destinations on time, and the last one just hops out and I lose all the money. It sucks, and that is before we get to my last complaint about the gameplay: the difficulty. No joke, this game is way harder than the first one. Like, I get times out constantly. While in the first game, I rarely ever ran out of time. In the second game, it's a pretty common occurrence for me to be trying to take someone to their destination and then just barely not make it and them literally hop out of the taxi. And this doesn't make that much sense to me, because the first one was an actual arcade game. And you'd think if one of them was to be hard, it would be the one that was designed to munch on quarters. But no, the harder one is the one that's exclusive to home consoles. But it doesn't make up for all the other negatives. So, Crazy Taxi 1 wins out in the gameplay department. Next up, let's talk about the soundtrack. And no offense to songs like All I Want or Americana, both those are amazing songs. But Crazy Taxi 2's soundtrack is leagues better than the first game. I mean, you even got songs like Come Out Swinging and No Brakes, which feel like they were specifically made for Crazy Taxi 2. Also, the band Methods of Mayhem is also featured in the game. However, The Offspring absolutely steal the show. However, Bad Religion is nowhere to be found for some reason. Not really sure why. Now, as much as I would love to play you some of it, unfortunately, it's all copyrighted. Meaning, I'm just gonna have to leave you a link in the description so you can check it out yourself. Alright, next up, let's talk about the 4 new characters that have joined in Crazy Taxi 2. First up, we got Slash. He's a short-tempered lunatic who drives a cab because he felt like it one day. Loyalty is his thing. That is, until he loses his temper. At which point, you should evacuate the city. And possibly the continent. Next up, we got the Iceman, who sounds like a real asshole. He doesn't take insults or criticisms. He also never gives out compliments and rarely responds to any given to him. Should you criticize him, his response is basically, "You got a problem with perfection?" Apparently, he became a taxi driver after he randomly picked up an old man and took him to his destination so fast, the old man gave him a huge tip. Which made Iceman decide, hey, you know I could make a ton of money being a taxi driver. So, that's what he did. He became a taxi driver. Also, he owns a boxer named BB, which he likes to hang out with. It's just randomly thrown into his bio. I thought I would point it out. Next up, we got the most normal and the youngest of all the taxi drivers. That is Cinnamon. She's cheerful and loves her job and just wants to make people smile. Honestly, she feels like she wandered in from a different game because there's nothing that crazy about her. Huh. And lastly, we have Hot D. Yes, that's really his name. He's a stuntman turned cabbie when he saw a cab zoom past him in the first game. Yeah, it turns out he was in West Coast, which is where the first game takes place, doing stunts for an action movie when he saw the cab zoom past him and saw they were making crazy money. So he went back home, got his favorite car, painted it yellow, and became a taxi driver. Now, none of this backstory is necessary at all to play the game. Honestly, you wouldn't know any of this unless you read the manual. But it's still cool, and a lot of these backstories are pretty funny. Next up, let's talk about the Crazy Pyramid, which is the closest thing Crazy Taxi 2 has to a campaign mode. Think of it as like a challenge mode you play through to unlock cool stuff. Everything from maps of the cities to some truly bizarre stuff we'll get into in a minute. Unlike the first game's challenge mode, which was mostly very boring, Crazy Pyramid actually delivers some solid fun. I spent a ridiculous amount of time launching cabs over buildings and waterways. I just had a blast with this. I didn't beat it, but I did unlock a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of these have this ancient ruin architecture that's floating above the ocean, and I don't know where they got these ruins from. I don't know if they were brought in from another game or they were made specifically for Crazy Taxi, but I still think it's really cool, and it's definitely odd. I mean, they don't look like they belong here at all, but it's still cool that there's some variety. Also, some of these challenges are just straight up bizarre. Like this one right here, where you pick up passengers and are hopping between buildings to take them to their destinations. I don't know what's going on. I can't make any sense of it. I just know it's fun. And now we get to the unlockables. And oh boy, the name Crazy Taxi really starts to earn its stripes here. At first, they start off relatively tame. You get a map of Small Apple and a map of a Round Apple. And then you start unlocking things that look like they were developed when the game designers were smoking crack and cocaine. First, you unlock a bicycle cab. It's not exactly efficient, nor does it look fun to drive, but it's weird. And then you unlock a freaking baby carriage. I am not joking. You push people around in a fucking baby carriage. So, after all is said and done, what do I think of Crazy Taxi 2? Honestly, it depends. This isn't a game you play seriously. It's a post-programming, hair-pulling relief valve. When reality's frustrating, Crazy Taxi lets you blow off some steam. And in my opinion, neither one is better. The first game has better gameplay and better map design. The second one has better music and the bonkers crazy hop and the pyramid mode that is infinitely more fun than its predecessor, the Crazy Box. So overall, it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm in the mood to listen to All I Want and Americana and drive around what's essentially San Francisco. Other times, I just want to hop around to the tune of No Brakes. Really, there's no one Crazy Taxi game between the two that's better than the other. It's just 100% personal preference and what the mood calls for. Well, I think that's all I have to say about Crazy Taxi 2. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And check out our Discord, The Dragon's Den. I will link it down below. And don't forget to visit our itch.io page. Yup, this is a game studio, so of course, we make video games. Right now, Nova Rebellion, our first game, is already out. And with that, this is the Anti-Gamer Slayer, signing off. Well, at long last, we've reached the end of the Crazy Taxi trilogy. Now, a lot of people didn't even know there was a third one. Honestly, I'm surprised how many people missed it entirely. Unlike the other two Crazy Taxis, this one was not released on a Sega console. The Dreamcast had kinda kicked the bucket by this point. Rest in peace, you amazing, amazing console. So Crazy Taxi 3 was released on the original Xbox, and later did get a PC port as well. Not on Steam though. It was re-released in 2004 on a physical disc. Yeah! This is a PC game that wasn't on a digital storefront. And nowadays, it's abandonware. It never got re-released on the PC again, on any digital storefront ever. So, if you want to play it nowadays, you either gotta track down an original Xbox with a copy of this game, gotta download the game off Abandonware's website, and pray to God you can get it running, or you can just look at the link in my description that links you to a video showing off a fan remake. Your choice, by the way. As for me, I'll be going with the PC fan remake, as that is probably the only way you're gonna be able to play this game nowadays. So with that, let's buckle up and drive straight into Crazy Taxi 3 High Rollers. First off, let's talk about what Crazy Taxi 3 brings to the table over its predecessors. We've got 3 maps in total, 2 remasters and 1 original. We got West Coast, which is a remaster of the original arcade map. Then we got Small Apple, which is a nighttime remix of Crazy Taxi 2's New York-inspired map. Then, of course, we got the new map, Glitter Oasis, which is inspired by Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh, and then there's Crazy X, which is this game's version of Crazy Box. And let me tell you, these minigames are completely unhinged. First, you got destroying UFOs, some normal stuff like the jump, and then driving towards a tornado. Well, yeah, apparently a tornado hit. I don't even know what exactly, it's just flinging cars at us. But no, let's forget logic. I'm taking this guy's fare and driving straight into the storm. Well, they don't call it Crazy Taxi for nothing. Anyway, let's check out the maps. First up is West Coast. It's a remastered version of the original arcade map. It's still got that chaotic charm, with a few new places tucked in. It's like revisiting your hometown after a few years. Familiar, but with just enough new stuff to realize, hell, I'm getting old. Anyway, it's just as fun as it was in the original Crazy Taxi. With a remixed soundtrack, of course. Yes, the fan remake remixes the soundtrack and adds a bunch of new songs to it. Even new bands, like Nirvana is legit in this game now. Here, take a look at the document that came with the game. It shows the new controls, as well as a complete list of the new soundtrack. Yeah, the new remix soundtrack is awesome. The guy who did this remake sure knows how to pick songs that fit the Crazy Taxi vibe. Anyway, the next map we're looking at is Small Apple. Yeah, the best map from Crazy Taxi 2 got a full-blown remake in this game. And it's way different this time. The whole thing takes place at night now, which gives it a completely new vibe. Seriously, this version is way more fun than the original, in my opinion. It just has one problem, and it 100% involves the fan remake, not the original. This map on the fan remake has a bad habit of crashing randomly. Maybe it's just my setup, but I've heard the folks on Steam Deck say it runs smooth for them, so who knows? Could be a hardware thing. Either way, it's the map I end up playing the least, which sucks because it's so awesome. And the last map to talk about is the only new map added in Crazy Taxi 3. Litter Oasis, and yeah, it was inspired by Las Vegas, which basically means it's sensory overload in map form. First off, you have the big city, which is flashing lights, neon signs, and chaotic intersections. It most certainly has the vibe of what happens here stays here, but with way more airborne taxis. What's cool is you can actually see the city glowing off in the distance from many of the surrounding desert areas. Yeah, this map is not just the Las Vegas Strip, it's a huge map with canyon, roads, and offbeat landmarks, and some surprisingly scenic detours. Yeah, I look forward to playing this map a lot more in the future. It's a great Crazy Taxi map, and I'm super excited to learn more about its shortcuts and inner workings. I would also like to mention that the Crazy Dash and Crazy Drift have been given a visual upgrade. And yeah, they're fire. Literally. Yeah, now when you hit those moves, literal fire blasts off the wheels of your taxi, like you're a drag racer. It's such a simple touch, but I think it's really awesome. Alright, so all of the previous taxi drivers return from the previous games. However, they're locked to their original maps until you unlock the ability to play as them in all the maps by doing the Crazy X mode. Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but I figured I'd mention that. As far as new characters goes, there's only 4. First up is Angel! Don't let the name fool you. This guy is anything but angelic. He's a full-time party animal who lives for adrenaline and chaos. He's the type to call up his buddies at 3 a.m. just to go dance on the beach with fireworks and a stolen boombox. Responsibility? He never met her. Angel runs purely on instinct and vibes. No planning, no consequences, just you only live once as a lifestyle and a motto. And why does he drive a taxi? Easy. Because when he's not having fun, he's in a car, which means he can go find fun. Anyway, that's his logic. Next up is Bixbite. The man, the myth, the blur, this dude is a full-on speed addict. But what sets him apart is how much he values his privacy. I mean, the guy had over 10 sponsors begging him to go pro in racing, but he turned them all down. Why? Because fame means cameras, and cameras mean no peace and privacy. Instead, a few close friends tipped him off to the Crazy Taxi gig on the West Coast. Yep, another nod to the original game. He took one look at that and said, "Yeah, I can do that, here in Vegas." And now, he's a crazy taxi driver. And next, we got Miss Venus. For better or worse, she's the second modern woman the series has brought into the spotlight. And she brings the weight of her whole family behind her. She's got a husband, 7 kids, and a dream to be the greatest taxi driver of all time. Her philosophy? Keep folks happy. This is a woman who thrives on joy and wants everyone who hops into her cab to leave smiling. And last, and definitely the least friendly, we got Zach. Now, there's not much to say about this guy other than he's a real asshole. You see, it's his car, his world, his pride, and his shine. And to him, everything he does is perfect. If you disagree, you better buckle up, because he's gonna get in your face about it. And with that, I think I've covered everything this game has to offer. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. The headlights button. Yeah, because somewhere in the development process, someone on the team said, "You know what this game needs? A headlight toggle." There is no gameplay benefit to this whatsoever. It's just a random button you can press to turn on and off your headlights. And with that, I think I've said everything that can be said about this game. It's sad, really. This was the last mainline Crazy Taxi game. Sure, there are a handful of botched ports that came afterward, as well as some stupid mobile games, but there was no more mainline Crazy Taxis after this. Which is sad, because these games are awesome. Just pure arcade fun, which is, I think, why they died off. Simply put, the arcades were already in steep decline and basically on life support by the time the first Crazy Taxi game dropped. By the time the third game rolled around, arcades were almost non-existent. People and the industry had moved on. Heck, by the time this game came out on Xbox, Halo had already dropped. Heck, nowadays, even the taxis themselves, real-life taxis, are fading out. These days, you'd be lucky to spot one outside of New York or Tokyo. They've been replaced by Ubers and self-driving transport cars. Yeah, I have no idea what they're called. I just know they exist. Yeah, Gen Alpha is probably going to grow up and not even know what a taxi is, and might not even see one. Heck, my generation, Gen Z, ask any of them, and more than likely, they're not going to know what it is, unless they're from some big city. Give it another 10 years, and I'm willing to bet taxis will have faded completely, replaced entirely by self-driving cars and Ubers. But that's the thing about games. Unlike most stuff in real life you lose to time and progress, through the power of emulation and games preservation, you can always relive old games, regardless of the year. Even if you're like me and never lived in these times, you can get a glimpse of what they looked like through playing the games that came out around that era, which I think is amazing. The Crazy Taxi games might be stupid, dumb, and outdated to most, but to me, I just like having fun. And that's what these games are. Pure fun. And I'll be playing this trilogy for a long, long time to come. Yo, guys, before I go off, here's a quick business pitch. If my game design studio ever goes belly up, I got a backup plan. I will become a crazy Uber driver. Hey, you, pedestrian! Do you need to get to your destination fast? Do you not care about traffic laws, gravity, or basic mortality? Then hire my crazy Uber! Rain, shine, night, tornadoes! I will get you there! Do I have a driver's license? Nope! Do I need one? Absolutely not! We're not following traffic laws! And we're rewriting physics, baby! Here at Crazy Uber, our motto is we get you there the fastest, not the safest. Be ready to pay in cash and make a quick exit upon arrival, especially when the cop sirens start wailing. And don't worry about me. They'll never catch me. I've got a nitro boost that caps out at 150 miles per hour in a custom anti-gravity jump booster that lets me leap in the air from a dead stop and defy physics, baby. Fuck you, Sir Isaac Newton. And yes, the only soundtrack that is allowed in my cab is Crush 40 and Sonic the Hedgehog music. If you don't like it, you can walk. And don't worry, I absolutely will not be paying for property damage if I crash into something. So remember, next time you need to get to your destination fastest, make sure you call the Crazy Uber Services! Disclaimer, the Crazy Uber is not responsible for whiplash, missing teeth, unplanned teleportation, legal consequences tied to reckless endangerment, or high-speed police pursuit. It also may cause disorientation and minor teleportation glitches and damages. We are not responsible for any of these side effects. So please consult the therapist before booking. And most importantly, thanks for watching. Oh, and just so you guys know, Centurion Dragon Studios is an indie game studio. So if you want to support this channel and support us, you can buy our first game to be released, Nova Rebellion, off itch.io. It's only $4.99, and it's a short space shooter. Links will be in the description. Thanks for watching. This is Troy Schultz, aka the Anti-Gamer Slayer, signing off.